welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland. My name's Fiona, and in today's craft and chat video I am going to make a St Patrick's Day inspired bookmark using this mould that I recently got from Beebeecraft. If you didn't see my recent Beebeecraft unboxing, I will link it for you. And this is a mould that I have been gifted as part of their YouTube programme. I will put the link for this mould in the description below, along with the link for the Beebeecraft website. So, as you might be able to see, there are paws and bones inside this, so it's like an animal print bookmark. I thought, why not use St Patrick's Day colours since it's coming up to St Patrick's Day. And I also already had some white UV resin and, well, glitter, white glitter UV resin and gold glitter UV resin made up from when I recently made these little charms. So I thought what we can do is we can tape up a blank one and make a charm to go with it as well. So rather than wasting this, I thought I'm going to use this. I will need to make up some more because it won't be enough. So I'll show you how to do it. And what I'm going to do is, the mould has actually got some little indentations. So the ones that are sort of indentations, I'm going to use the glitter UV resin. And for the areas which are actually raised silicone, I'm going to dust with mica powder before we put the epoxy resin in. So my thinking is I'm going to use white for the bones and gold for the paws, and then I'm going to do a nice green background in it for the main part of the bookmark. The first thing I'm going to do is just make up a little bit more of this, and it's so easy to do. All you do is take your UV resin. At the moment I've got the high viscosity UV resin by J Diction. This is actually quite good for the small areas like this because it stays where you want it. And I'm just going to squeeze some into my little container. I don't need too much. I'll do the same with the gold. If you have got leftover UV resin, this was 3 days ago that I had used it, and it's still fine because I kept it in the dark. You couldn't do that with epoxy, but you can with normal UV resin. I'm going to take my gold glitter and I'm going to add a little bit more gold glitter to there. Now you don't want to add too much because the light does need to be able to get through to completely cure the resin. So I've added my glitter. I'm just going to give that a mix up. It doesn't look like much at all, but you really don't need much at all. And before I add the glitter to the white, I'm just going to use the gold while I've got my little pokey tool already in it. So gold for the paws. And it's just a case of taking a small amount of the resin and dotting it in the areas that you want. In fact, I'm going to need a smaller dotty tool than this, I think. This one's better, it's smaller. Get into the small areas. Obviously you can wipe it before you cure it anyway if it goes over. So I'll just dot some in there. Get rid of the hairs. I'm not using gloves at the moment. UV resin doesn't affect my skin, but you are more than welcome to use it. In fact, you probably should, to keep yourself safe. I haven't got great sensation in my hands anyway, so when I can get away with not wearing gloves, I don't wear them. It just makes it easier for me. But do as I say, not as I do. Get your gloves on. So there's one. I will do all of the gold glitter and then I'll pop it under the UV light while I'm mixing up my white glitter. And UV glitter does shrink a little bit, or it can shrink a little bit when you cure it, so just keep a wee eye on that and make sure when you're putting it in, it's getting right into the edges. Just going to take a micro brush and go over any little bits that I don't want to be covered. Right, I think that will do it. Pop that under my UV lamp now. fact, what I'm going to do is get my little charm ready, and I can put my gold in. So I have got this UV resin tape. I'm just going to cut a bit off. So you need some kind of tape when you're using open bezels to stop the resin from basically just flowing out of your bezel and onto whatever it is that you are working on. And make sure that it's stuck very firmly down so we don't get any leakage. Right, so we've got 3 colours and four leaves, so I think I'll do 2 green, 1 gold and 1 white. Basically, now that that's stuck down, I am going to get some of my gold and just pop it in the space. Like that. Make sure that it's all in. You would normally check for bubbles and things, but I find when you've got glitter, it isn't really quite so important. So I'm going to put that under my UV lamp as well, and I'm going to give them another 90 seconds. So while that is doing that, I am going to mix some white glitter. I'll just pop this over there to stop the UV rays coming through. So here is my white. I did put some extra UV resin in it. I'm just going to add some more glitter. This is a nice sort of shimmery holographic glitter, I like it. Because it's white, you can usually get away with a little bit more. Give this all a mix up. That should be enough, I think. So we shall leave our little charm over there. We'll take this, make sure it hasn't shrunk anywhere. We don't need to top any bits up. I don't think so, I think we're okay. So I'm going to go in with the white now and fill in any of the hollow white bones. Just exactly the same way. Probably wouldn't have had to top that up actually, I've still got lots left. Let me have a look, see if there's any bits needing some more, any cleanup needing done. Yep. I'm just going to use the same micro brush just to save waste. I've cleaned it. I think that's it, I don't think we've got any other cleanup needing done. So I'll pop that under the lamp for its first 90 seconds while I am working on the white on our charm. I want to have the green ones facing each other or opposite each other, so I'm going to put the white in this bit. And exactly the same again. Just make sure that you get it into all of the little edges and then give it a chance to settle a bit before you pop it under the lamp. Right, so that's had its first 90 seconds, so I'll just pop the tape under. And we'll give them both 90 seconds now. Right, so that's us done with the UV resin. I'm going to pop that out of the way. Right, so now we just want to dust some mica powder onto the raised areas. I'm still doing white for the bones. In fact, there's only one raised bone, and gold for the paws. So I've got this little stacking set of mica powders. I'm just going to use this. Just want to use a little paintbrush or something similar. And we just want a little bit at a time. The static is real, folks, the static is real. We can do some cleanup afterwards. There we go, there's white on the bone. Just going to give my brush a quick clean to get the white off. I love using these. I think they're actually meant for like nail artists, these wee sponges, but they're great for cleaning your brushes in between different micas. So which gold will I use? I think I'll use this one. So I'm going to do the same thing but on the paws. Now for cleaning up the bits of powder that went on the main part of the mould that I don't really want those colours, I am going to use micro brushes and cotton buds, and I'm just going to spray them with a little bit of water. I'm not worried about using alcohol at this point, just water's fine. Is ready for the epoxy now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off camera to clean up a bit and mix up my epoxy, and then I will come back once that's all mixed. So I am back. I have mixed up my resin. It's the last dregs of my resin that I've got here. I'm literally down to drops until I get my next supply in later this week. So it is still a little bit bubbly, even though I've had it heating up for a while, and I'm assuming it's maybe because it's the last of the bottles and it's maybe actually going off slightly. They have been open for a while. So I'm going to go with it and we'll see what happens. So I've mixed it up. So it was 15 mils of A, 15 mils of B, giving me 30 mils, and I hope it's enough because, like I said, I've got drops left. So I've just got this green mica powder. I'm just going to add some in. I don't want to add too much because I want it to be green, but I still want the gold and the white to be seen. So we'll start with maybe 2 of that amount and see how it goes. Yeah, there isn't, the mica's not even mixing in very well. I think it is probably because it's the last of the tub. It's the very dregs at the very bottom. I quite like the colour though. I'm not sure it's an emerald isle colour, but we'll go with it. Artistic licence and all that. And I've got something gloopy in there that I don't want. There we go. And I think that's going to be an okay colour. I really don't want to make it much darker than that. All I'm going to do now is carefully pour it into the bookmark and pray that we have enough. Maybe not green enough now that I see it in the bookmark, but it's enough to give us the idea. Oh, I think we're going to have enough. Yay! Oh, we've got plenty. Plenty. Now, normally I would want to go around all of the little edges with a pokey tool just to make sure. Oh, hold on. We have a hair. We have a hair in the way. Come out, hair. Your time is up. There we go. Yeah, I would normally go through to make sure, in fact I might do it at the edges, just to make sure that there's not going to be any bubbles getting trapped. I think I've actually made put too much in now because I'm covering the little nubbly bit, which is now my official term for the little bit that sticks up for you to put your jump rings or whatever through. That is now the official term because a few people said that they like it being called the nubbly bit, so that is now the term that I'm going to use. Hopefully it'll catch on. Another hair, get out. I know it's Easter, but it's too early for hairs. I'm here all day, folks. I'm just taking tiny amounts out because if I do it now, it just saves a lot of hassle later. You can drill it, or for the amount that's there, you'll probably be able to just poke it through. But this is what I do if I manage to slightly overpour resin in something. This is going to be a very sturdy bookmark because it is nice and thick. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to leave it for a few minutes see how it goes, and then I might just spray it with a bit of alcohol. Now, I didn't want to add any glitter to this resin because I want the glitter from the UV resin to show up, but I think I might add just a wee touch. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Sticking to my gloves. I might add just a little touch to give it a bit more colour before I pour it into the charm. Here we have a nice green. I wonder, I might just sprinkle some of this green over that, just to add a little bit more colour, just to make it a little bit darker. What do we think? The glitter will sink to the bottom. What do you think? Will I go for it? Will I? Will I? Right, I'll pop some in the lid. Oops, might be too much. And then I'll just gently, I love experimenting. Oopsie. Yep. Now, will I be able to use my wee stick to get some of that out, do we think? In fact, you know what? I'm going to use this to get some of that out and pop in my charm. Ah, look at that. Waste not, want not. Now, I've never used epoxy in open bezels before, but I believe you can, and we're about to find out. Like I say, I like to experiment. I'm quite happy with that, so I'm now going to, let me check, are we needing a wee spritz of alcohol just to, yeah, there's a couple of bubbles coming up there. So I've got my alcohol in here. I always make sure it's a completely different bottle from my water so they don't get mixed up. I'll give it just a wee, just to get rid of any little bubbles. I will leave the charm, and I'm going to head off now and find another mould to pour this wee bit of extra in, and I'll come back to you tomorrow when it's ready to unmould. Yay! Good morning, it is now the next day and we are ready to unmould these. First of all, I am going to unmould the extra that I made. Now, what I did was I ended up just putting a whole load of the green glitter into the resin before pouring this, and this is a mould I've not actually used before. My daughter got me it for Christmas, so I thought it would be perfect for the little lizard. Let's have a look, eh? And see, it's still a little bit bendy, but we'll get away with it. Let's see how this one looks. Oh, look! That is very cute. Isn't he cute? Yay! That's a nice mould, actually. I like that. So yeah, that's just a little extra. I don't know what I'll do with it. It can be a, can maybe go on Xana's vivarium. We can say it's a bearded dragon. And now let's have a look at our charm. That has all cured. You actually can't tell the difference between the UV resin and the epoxy. Let's try taking it off here. It has cured lovely and not much to reveal, but it's nice. Now the big one. I was a bit worried later on that I had added that glitter. I thought it's all going to sink and hide the paw prints on the bones, but I don't know, we'll see. It is very bendy, but we'll go for it. I'm just going to unmould it this way to try to keep it straight, flat. But before I look, I will flip it over. Yep, the mould has come out nice and clean, which is good. I've got a couple of little bits of overpour there. Get them, they won't take much to get rid of. I'll clean it up properly in a wee while. I just want to make sure there's nothing too visible to spoil the look of the actual bookmark. Right, are we ready? Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, yeah, the glitter has definitely spoiled it. I wish I had just left it as it was. I would say the white isn't really white enough for the bones, but it's okay. Is it really a St. Patrick's Day themed? Probably not, the colours aren't quite right, but it's still a nice bookmark, isn't it? and as far as the mould is concerned, it's all came out really nice. I'm very impressed with that. And of course I do like the fact that where it's just the mica powder that's been brushed on is nice and matte, whereas the rest is gloss. I do like that. Yeah, so it's nice. It's not what I was hoping for in terms of my design, but the mould itself is good. What I will say, it is quite a thick mould, so obviously it's bendy just now, but once this properly cures, it is going to be quite thick. So you would need to watch maybe what books you put it in. You wouldn't really get away with making it too much thinner because of the height of the raised bits. But yeah, it's fantastic. I'm really impressed with the mould, and I'm looking forward to trying other things with this. I'm going to finish it off anyway, so I'm just going to take my little pokey tool and make sure the little hole is nice and clear, because remember I did pour a bit too much in. I took some out, but maybe not quite enough. There we go. And I have got this bookmark tassel. I thought the yellow would go. In fact, you know what? I think I've got a gold. Hold on. Do we think with that one? Yeah, that one goes better, I think, because it goes better with the actual little paws. So I'll put that aside. Now, I don't know the best way to do this. Should I thread the charm on and then thread it through there? Do I need a jump ring? Let's try it and see. I've got a plastic sewing needle here. I don't know if that's going to be too big for the charm. Yeah. It is a bit. Hold on. Haha, I found my needle threader. So what I might do is try and put it through the bookmark first. Oh, it's still very bendy to be doing this. Right. Excuse me being all fingers and thumbs. I think I've said before, I've not got great sensation in my hands. When it comes to fiddly things like this, it is awkward for me, but we get there. We just keep trying. There we go. And then pull this through. Yay! I like that. You could add some jump rings and make it into a proper dangle, but I quite like the charm just sitting there. So I will give it a, once it's properly cured, I will clean up the edges and I will leave it like that, I think. I'm slightly frustrated that I was silly and went ahead with the glitter. You know me, I can't resist glitter, but I still like it. I think it's turned out really, really nice. I could top coat it, dome it with UV resin, but honestly I don't think it needs it. So I am going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think. A very simple project to do. The mould is fantastic. It basically helps you out, showing you where to put different colours. And yeah, just don't do what I did and get a bit glitter handy or glitter heavy. But I've showed you how to use how to make the little charm as well, which the same principles can be used for any open bezels. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this. Thank you again to Beebeecraft for gifting me this as part of their YouTube programme. Again, the links will be in the description below. Please talk to me in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would do with this. I did think about a black and white theme, like a sort of Dalmatian type. So I might do that next time. I'm not sure. But let me know what you think anyway in the comments below. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And I will see you in our next one. Bye!